A wise man once said that the best way to know a man is to observe him and keep records of what he does. And this is by way of saying welcome to Korero. As the country continues to grapple with insecurity, banditry, terrorism, kidnapping, communal conflicts, and other criminal activities, many stakeholders have advocated for the decentralization of policing through the establishment of state police forces. Few days ago, Nigeria moved closer to this reality as the National Assembly passed the bill for the constitutional amendment that would allow states to establish their own police forces alongside the federal police system. The reform is widely viewed as a major attempt to strengthen internal security and improve democratic governance. Democracy is expected to deliver tangible benefits to citizens. If properly implemented, state policing could become one of the dividends of democracy. Now, citizens may find it easier to hold state government accountable for security failures when governors have direct responsibility for policing. But despite this, despite its potential that it holds right now, state policing also raises concerns. Now, critics fears that governors may use state police to harass political opponents, intimidate critics, influence elections, and much more. Now, this remains one of the strongest arguments against the state policing. Ultimately, the true dividends of democracy is not simply the existence of institutions, but their ability to improve the lives, safety, and welfare of the people. So tonight on Korero, we will look into the dividends of democracy with Nigerians' perception on policing and state police. With me in the studio right now is the person of Chief Chibuna Ubawike, a chairman of All Progressive, APC-registered Progressive North-South Forum, and also is a businessman, among other things. And also have Mr. Peter Osaji, Director of Research, NOI Polls. It's on this note I want to say welcome to Korero.
Thank you very much.
Well, let me even begin with Chief Chibuna. The Senate has approved the state police bill, which is right now the most talked about issue in the country. But do you believe this is the most significant democratic governance reform since we returned back to democracy in 1999?
Thank you, Godwin. I will commend the Senate for having the courage and the political will to consider, the bill for the alteration of the Constitution that will allow the setting up of a state police. Since the advent of this Fourth Republic in 1999, it has been part of the sing-song and the desire of Nigerians that Nigeria should decentralize our policing system. Aside having the federal police, that each state should have its own police as it is obtainable in advanced economies and democracies, that it will help in curbing cases of insecurity, because perpetrators of insecurity are from particular localities, they are from families, they are from particular wards, so everybody knows each other. So if the state police is set up, people that will make up the officials, the personnel of the police will be from those localities as well. It will assist in arresting this ugly trend, because they will go after those perpetrators of insecurity. So it is a welcome development. I salute President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for having the political will to do this, and I salute the Senate and the House of Representatives as well for having the political will to pass this bill, which will await going to the states' houses of assembly for their concurrence before Mr. President will assent to it. I salute them. It is a welcome development in trying to reset our security architecture.
Well, speaking of security architecture, let me come to you, Peter. NOIPOS previously found that 61% of Nigerians supported state police. That was in 2017, based on the research that was done. Now, has public opinion so far changed in the light of worsening insecurity, and what's the latest trend, even from NOIPOS?
Well, thank you very much. NOIPOS, we're always at the forefront of providing much needed data that guides the mood of the nation and also guides decision makers from time to time. Just some few weeks ago, we developed we embarked on a poll where we sampled the opinion of Nigerians on the issue of state policing and policing generally. And 72% of Nigerians.
It has moved from 61% to
72% of Nigerians.
All right, that's a good.
Showed support and gave mandate to government, that they're willing to give mandate to government to set up state policing. So it's just like demand is meeting supply. So Nigerians, the overwhelming majority of Nigerians are fully in support of setting up state police. When we look at that data critically, you will find out that most younger people are in that category of people that were fully in support.
The demography, right?
The demography. Yeah. And also, you find out that cut across the geopolitical zones, there was huge support for state police across the nation.
But no geopolitical zone takes the front.
Oh, of course, there are always disparities per geopolitical zone.
We'll get to that part of the conversation. Let me come back to Chief Chibuna, or Chief Chibuna, as the case may be. Well, you've commended the National Assembly for doing a fantastic job with the whole state policing amendment of the Constitution. But then let's look at it holistically. For many Nigerians, there is a growing concern that the state police may deepen regional inequalities, with wealthier states providing better security, wealthier states, I beg your pardon, providing better securities than poorer states. Now, looking at where we are right now, and states, well-to-do states and states that are economically not balanced, where does this place us as a country?
The state police is a creation of the law. It is the same legal framework for all the states.
But the state will have to finance the state. All right, please go ahead.
It is the same legal framework. So in the case of richer states will be able to fund their police better than the other. Well, it will have little or nothing to contribute to the performance of the personnel. In the civil service, state civil service now, not all the states pay the same wage. I don't know whether you get me. Thank you. Not all the states of the federation pay the same wage, especially the minimum wage. Not all the states pay the same. So all the states will not be the same. All the states do not have the same number of local governments. All the states do not have the same number of wards and polling units. All the states, are not at par. There are states that are richer. So you should expect that people that work there, if they have a good governor, they will enjoy a better condition of service. But it is the same legal framework. The thing will not go below what the threshold set by the law. In the state might improve, but they will not go below.
Invariably, you're saying at this point that if we peg the salary of state police at perhaps 100,000 naira for a constable, it will be a uniform salary across board.
Yes, if the law says it is like that.
And if the state governors cannot afford it, where does this leave those states when it has to do with
there
security?
There is no reason for a state governor to say he
but
cannot afford it.
We've seen states where the governors have been unable to pay the wages of his civil servants. In this regards,
the states that have failed to pay the minimum wage to their civil servants are not being sincere. All the states of the federation, since they coming on board of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government, are receiving quadruple times the revenue they were receiving hitherto. So what are they doing with the money? What are they doing with all the monies? The local governments are receiving quadruple times the allocation they were receiving prior to the coming on board of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government. What are they doing with the monies? Any state that claims not to have the money to pay minimum wage is not being sincere. But I can tell you that all the states are paying their wages now. They are no longer borrowing money to pay wages, which is part of the dividend of this administration. It's part of the dividend that this administration has delivered to Nigerians. Prior to this time, state governors were borrowing money to pay salaries. But now, no state governor is borrowing money to pay salaries. Instead, they are clearing their debts. So I believe that the states will be financially buoyant and liquid to meet up with their responsibility of, taking good care of the personnel of the state police.
But
it is a security emergency. We need them to be able to tackle insecurity that has eaten deep into the fabric of the Nigerian society.
But Chief, you're ruling out the if in the conversation.
Nigeria is on an
So
upward trajectory.
we shouldn't have a contingency planning.
There
There's no even looking at the other side of the conversation.
Yeah.
What if the governors are unable to meet up with? Let me allow you to hold that thought there, Chief. Let me come to
I would have answered before you go.
All right, please, let me allow you to drop it. Please go ahead.
Like I said, it is the same legal framework. And with the revenues coming into the federation account and being, disbursed to the federating units, no state governor will complain about not having the funds to take care of this police personnel.
Understood, Chief. So let me come to you, Peter.
Yes.
I believe the figures you've read out to us for the NOI polls was the 2025 National Survey.
2026.
Oh, this was 2026. Because I recall that 2025 we had about 70%. Right now it has moved to 72%. But based on the poll and the polling data that we have so far, what percentage of Nigerians consider insecurity even the most important issue affecting their quality of life and democratic satisfaction?
Yeah, so Nigerians, that was the overwhelming expression from Nigerians that their quality of life has massively dropped because of insecurity. They attached it to insecurity, and just like we had in the Democracy Day poll that we did, insecurity ranked highest among what Nigerians were most troubled about. So I think this is the National Assembly or the legislator really doing what Nigerians are expecting, because Nigerians want to see actions in the direction of getting them more secured. Anything in that regard, it's a highly welcome remark from Nigerians. And just to let you know that when Nigerians were asked how they feel when they see a policeman or when they see a police around them, how many of you do you feel more secured or do you feel more confident? You see, 52% of Nigerians said they actually feel much more confident when they see a police. But there was also a reasonable majority that said they feel worried, they feel scared when they see the police. So the fact that we're having state police is not just a silver bullet. It's not going to solve all the problem. There are already a lot of inefficiencies and trust deficit in the way policing is currently being done in the country. And Nigerians expressed it massively in this poll that we had. And they are expecting that if policing is going to be decentralized as they want that policing to be accountable, to be transparent, and to be citizen-centered.
Well, Chief Chibuna, supporters of the old state policing idea maintain that it will improve response times and also intelligence gathering. On the other hand, critics fear that governors may use the state police to intimidate political opponents. You have been able to explore both sides of the divide. I believe you believe also that it will improve response time. And also looking at it, I believe also that you will also see the part the critics are coming from. But where do you stand in this? Will state police be ridiculed and subjected to that point where the governors begin to use state police to threaten and intimidate political opponents, or it will go for the formal?
Thank you. And that was the fear. I was one of those too that entertained that fear that governors will, use the state police as a weapon to witch hunt, and deal with their opponents. But when a national interest comes to play, when our security dynamics change and there is more need to take care of our national security, it subsumed my individual apprehension. And the law passed by the bill passed by the National Assembly yesterday provided a safeguard shielding, the opposition politicians or those that might want to criticize a governor from being witch hunted using the state police apparatus to deal with them. The law provided a protection for them. Governors will not be able to abuse it. But being in a society where we are, all I would want the National Assembly to do now is to provide for, should the governor abuse the state police, should the governor decide to, damn whatever the law provides for and goes ahead to use the state police force to deal with his opponents, what should be the consequence? That, because it is not part of that, it's not in the law passed by the National Assembly now. There is no provision for taking care of should the governor go ahead to abuse the state police, using it against his opponents. I will implore the National Assembly to look at that, include it in the law. Yes, a governor enjoys immunity. He cannot be prosecuted, but he can be investigated while in office. So that if a governor does that, what should be done to him as a serving governor? And then, after he has left office, let there be a provision to take care of that. Because some governors I know might decide to damn the law and go ahead to abuse, the state police, using it to, witch hunt their opponents. Let there be a provision in the law that will take care of such abuse to strengthen the law the more. But provision of state police is the right thing that this government has done. It will take care of a lot of, insecurity issues we're having in our nation today, because every security starts from a locality. It is going to take care of it.
Well, a survey was carried out. Let me come to you, Peter.
Yeah.
A survey was carried out, and a large percentage of Nigerians will tell you that first and foremost, the issue around the borders on security should be left to the hand of the federal government to handle, because community policing, which we've seen in various states, at Motekun and a few others, even in a number of states, have been manipulated by the government and be used to the government's own advantage to intimidate the people. This brings me to that point, looking at the surveys that have been carried out and looking at the various community policing systems that we've put in place. Are we ready as a country for state policing based on surveys?
Yeah, based on the survey, as I said, beginning from those that want state policing, 72%.
In practice, so,
not we asked them. Yes. We asked them that if you want the police,
if you take this conversation back to the communities and have interactions with them, not just an online survey, but then a practical demonstration, so tendering Christians,
so there's no much difference between,
with them.
What you find in the survey,
those are affected by all of these, might not even be some of the surveys that we do online, and people that are feeling the brunt of the inefficiency and ineffectiveness of the federal policing system might not have access to all of these. So
I agree with you, and let me start by saying that when you do a survey, you try to, as much as possible, sample the opinion that whatever you find will be the general opinion at the end of the day, or else your sampling was not correct. So we are very rigorous in making sure we have a sample that is representative. That's why we will not tell you our findings per state, but we can tell you our findings per geopolitical zone. Now, if you look at the disparity which I was telling you about in our findings, most of the people in the South region were very much not satisfied with how policing currently is done in the country. Though they were in support of state police, they had most that had concerns with how policing is currently done. Now, when we asked Nigerians from the poll, how do you think the police can be more citizen-centered, accountable, and transparent? The first thing they said is that every policeman must, as a matter of must wear a body camera. That was the highest suggestions from Nigerians. Do you know why? And when we saw that, yes, that means Nigerians are really now seeing policing from another. Though it's expensive, but that's the idea why the Police Trust Fund Act was also amended yesterday to ensure that at least 1% of the consolidated revenue of the federal government is used to fund police to really buy equipment to equip a policeman better. If a policeman is wearing a body camera, for example, you will be careful you won't be the person to ask you for something by the road. Because even the camera listens to you. The camera will see the person giving you the kickback. So automatically, that puts the policeman in check. If a policeman is wearing a body camera, whatever he sees, or maybe he's trying to catch something, it records that, and they can use that clip to train other policemen that, oh, when you're in a situation like this, look at how this person handled it, look at how the other person handled it. So those are advantages of this, which happens everywhere all over the world. Even in Africa, most countries have adopted this. And we're happy now that this Police Trust Fund Amendment Act that was also passed yesterday is expected to fund the police more and fund basic infrastructures like this. This will make the police more transparent. Because Nigerians will trust and really say, police is my friend, when I know that the police will not corner me at one angle, and rather than try to help me, try to extort me.
Well, let's look at Chibuna. Let's take this to the political angle. Of course, you've talked about the fact that Nigerian police we need this reform. As a matter of fact, that yesterday, if I understand you correctly. But then, a lot of persons will say that these reforms will overstretch the governors in resources that they don't even have as it stands right now. It will overstretch the state finances. Coupled with the fact that the federal government is trying to put a lot of economic reforms right now that the state governors are yet to comprehend. Now, imposing state police on them again will further throw them off balance. Political-wise, looking at the state police philosophy for Nigeria as a country, can we say that the 36 state governors and the 6 geopolitical zones, across the 6 geopolitical zones, are ready for state police?
Let me correct one statement you made. Imposing state police on the governors.
Well, that's what it seems right now.
No.
That's what it seems, because that conversation... Okay, please go ahead.
There is nothing like imposition.
All right.
Before the National Assembly came up, with this bill, before the executive sent in this executive bill, the National Assembly has conducted public hearings in all the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. And memoranda were submitted to the committee requesting that there should be state police in Nigeria, as it is obtainable in advanced economies, even in some of our African countries as well. That we need state police to complement what the federal police is doing, because policing is local.
Yeah.
Now, any state governor that will come out to say that his resources will be stretched, beyond limit, what has he been doing with these ones he's collecting now that is not utilizing appropriately? Are you following me?
Yeah.
Thank you. So there shouldn't be any reason for that. And government have made provision, like my brother Sajie said, the Police Trust Fund Act that was 0.05% before has now been increased to 1% of consolidated revenue that will go directly to the State Police Service Commission to take care of the police.
Yes.
So they will not be under the whims and caprices of any state governor in terms of their funding. But governors will assist. Like we have seen governors assisting the federal police in their states to carry out their responsibility, providing them with equipment, providing them with, mobility and others. So it is the right thing that the government has done. And besides, I believe all the 36 governors are in tandem with the federal government and the National Assembly in setting up state police. They all agree, except someone that has something to hide.
Well, let me also chip this in. Based on the National Bureau of Statistics headcounts rates, we still have states like Sokoto, Bayelsa, Jigawa, and Kebbi constantly ranked as the poorest states in Nigeria based on multi-dimensional poverty index. That's the MPI. So just to set that straight. So if we've been following the trends also to also understand if the input by these states about their financial status was put into consideration before some of this bill this bill was even assented to, was even considered by the National Assembly, and some of the findings we made was that it was override by public interest. And as such, it was, for these states, they believe that it is imposed on them, just to set the record straight. But then let's move on.
Let me respond to you.
Let's move away from that.
No, let me respond to you before you move ahead, please. Bayelsa receives over 30 billion naira every month from the federation account, so has no reason to complain about. But
it's still bedeviled by environmental challenges and climate challenges.
Limited agricultural productivity. It is management of resources. When every state, no state in Nigeria today that is not rich.
Yeah.
The governors should look inwards in their state, develop their states. Every state in Nigeria has mineral deposits that you can develop, that will attract investment in your state and stimulate economic growth. No state in Nigeria should complain about poverty. We are naturally endowed. What we need is proper management of their resources to be able to touch the lives of the citizens of the states.
Yeah, and God, if I'm able to just add to what High Chief has said,
please,
I think it's about the issue of priorities, which, you mentioned. As a chief executive of a state, your priority, currently, we know the priority is security because around the nation, everybody is concerned and the citizens are demanding to be secured. So, no matter how poor you are as a state, you need, just like a family, you will need to first sort the most important thing as a family man before you sort others. So the issue of security is not what you will live for when I have extra. It's going to be a first line charge. States will have to come up with laws where they will have first line charge for security to fund that. And also the law that High Chief mentioned has the committee, the National Police Commission now at the center is they have minimum expectation or requirements that they will use to assess a state's readiness to set up their own state police. It's not that anybody just set it up and then this one will be better funded than the other or look better organized. There's a minimum standard. If you don't meet that minimum standard, then you are not yet ready. And I don't think any government wants to put itself in that light and then insecurity continue to fester in their place. So security is a priority issue, and I'm sure it will get to the attention of their finance.
It will get to the attention of the finance. But then let's even talk about these whole finance.
Yeah.
And Nigerians have expressed various interests about this state policing. Mm-hmm. Like we said before, talked about political abuse, the funding, which we're even talking about right now. There's also the part of recruitment standards, which has bedeviled the various security agencies in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, for some security agencies, they'll tell you that they have a particular quota assigned to a particular state or geopolitical zones. And as a matter of fact, moving away from that, we also have the issue around accountability. Based on the surveys and polling that the NOI have been able to carry out. Let me even find out from you whether Nigerians believe that decentralized policing will reduce kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, and communal conflicts. Bill, all of this put together.
Thank you very much, Godwin. Yes, so our poll showed that Nigerians are clamoring for state police. And I'll quickly use the word of Gadawali, the executive director of UNODC, who said that when a police is accountable and transparent, it is good for the public, it is good for the police itself, and it's also good for the safety and security of all. So the issue of having the police accountable to the people benefits the police itself, because no police wants to be seen as not effective. Our poll shows that 45% of Nigerians, 45%, they see the police activities as negative to them, while 43% see the police as positive. So more see it as negative, slightly more. The other 11% stayed in the middle. So that shows that it is neither here nor there yet. So setting up state police should not be decentralization of the abuse. It shouldn't be that what is happening at the center now, is now happening everywhere in every state, or the weakness at the center is now transferred. It should be that the states are able to now find the better ways of policing their people. As I said, there was large regional disparities in how people even supported the state police and how people feel about the police. Take the South-South, for example. Probably the average person in the South-South that responded to the poll was not happy about how policing is done currently now. Probably the governors of those states will find a better solution that will bring better policing to their own people, that will now improve those people's perception of the police. But currently, the perception of the person in the south part of the nation was far, because when they say, do you think after NSAS, we asked that question, after NSAS, do you think police brutality and all that has reduced? 53% of Nigerians said yes, it has reduced. But in the South, only 29% said it has reduced. In the Northeast and the Southwest, where we had the highest, more than 60-something%. So even though there's a high national average, some regions have their peculiarities. And that's why the issue of state police, I think, is going to solve peculiar issues. And there was something that the president said when we're rolling the initial documentary before we started this conversation today that took my interest. He said, we need to listen to the people. We need to listen to the youth. Now that some of this data is out, will the government use it? Do you know what would they do about how this thing is being set up across different states and regions? Or are we just going to allow one straitjacket solution?
Well, Peter, before we get to that point of even asking very pertinent questions, let me come back to Chief Chibuna. Chief Chibuna, I believe by understanding you are more armed with historical facts. And let's travel down the history lane, taking it back to 1946, where Nigerian first test regionalism. One of the disadvantages of regionalism that eventually led to the 1951 Macpherson Constitution was all of these cracks within the region. Now, we saw the same crack played out in 1956. The 1957, I beg your pardon, talking about the Littleton Constitution, and also which gave rise to the Independent Constitution 1960. We're moving on from that. Now, the bane of Nigerian in 1966, that one of the issues around the Civil War was the fact that the regions were not recognized. And now, for a lot of persons, they will say, the state police is taking us back to 1946, where we practiced regionalism. And because it did not hold water then, we were unable to maintain the status quo. Right now, if we fall back to that quagmire of regionalism, Nigeria will further divide, and we will not be able to amend the cracks. Help us understand this from a historical perspective. If we forge ahead with the state police, would the crack in Nigeria further be divided? Will the state police be built as the military arm of various states to have conflictual, to undo conflictual disagreement between two states in this regard, even in a near war situation?
The dynamics are not the same. The human society is dynamic. It grows, it changes. As we are developing, things changes. What happened in the the years you quoted by is not what is happening now. We have developed to the extent, to the level that our federal policing is no longer effective in combating the crime that are committed at the localities. What is the strength of our police? I don't think they are up to more than 300,000.
Roughly.
Roughly. Thank you. And we are a nation of about 250 million. And 300,000 policing 250 million. It can be effective. So, but with state policing, one, jobs will be created in those states where the personnel will be taken from. They will be able to tackle state-based security issues. And they have been insulated from being used by the governors to prosecute their selfish or vendetta on their opponents or who they do not like. their responsibilities are outlined in the law setting them up. And that is the ground norm. They are going to operate based on the provisions of that law to secure their states, each state of the federation. Imagine in a state, let's say my state now has 27 local governments, and each local government, maybe 1,000 persons is recruited in a local government. Do you get me? Into the state police. Let's say in my state, if we recruit 1,000 persons per local government, it will be 27,000 persons. They will adequately and effectively secure the state, because 1,000 person policing a local government will be able to go to the nook and crannies of the local government, be able to nip in the bud any security issue that will want to rise, and that will make the state safe. And when the state is safe, its economy improves, it develops, the human capital improves and develops. When people are secure, they will be able to transact businesses, jobs will be created, and the standard of living of people will, improve. So there is no need or no reason for anybody to entertain any fear. Yes, we are humans. There are bound to be abuses or whatever, but the law has taken care of such. So
you're saying at this point that the state police, if fully implemented, will not be used as the armor wing of states.
No. There is a law setting them up.
All right.
And the law setting them up is not peculiar to a particular state. It is the same law setting up the state police. So whatever the state is doing will not be different or in conflict with the law setting up the state police.
Well, noted, Chief. So let's come to you, Peter. For the polls that was also conducted shows that a lot of Nigerians that have delved into the insecurity business of kidnapping, banditry, a lot of them claimed that they ventured into crime due to the fact, or due to the poverty of the country, that they were able to meet up certain things. But then the government is not addressing the issue around the lacks, the missing gaps in the financial status of the average Nigerian. But right now we're talking about the state policing. For many, they will say it's a misplaced priority. Help us understand this. Is this actually misplaced priority based on the number of young people going into crimes across the various geopolitical zones?
Yeah, so we know that crime or incidents of crime or prevalence of crime is never we can't justify. It's not justifiable. You can't say because the government has not done what's supposed to do, crime has now increased, and then is justified. No, there's no justification for it. And that's why when crime increases, you have to increase your way of nipping it in the bud.
Shouldn't the economic empowerment and more be the first thing?
Yeah, so it's a multifaceted approach. The government has got priorities in ranks and in order. Investing in the people should be the greatest priority of government, and then before we talk of investing in infrastructure. Unfortunately, when we look at some of the approach of current government, apart from what is happening now and the new approach and the new drive to now try to really bring growth from the recovery we say we have come out from, there seems to be so much emphasis on infrastructures and without really investing in the people. There has been data all along that the way we are growing at a rate that our resources are not able to manage, and much has not been done before now to address that. But I think this government is trying to take some steps in that regard. So we will certainly have to encourage the government to get security on the table.
We'll encourage the government to get security, but then look
while
at
they also plan for the people.
63% of Nigerians even living below the national poverty line. That's approximately 140 million Nigerians living below the national poverty line. And yet we're talking about state policing. Chief, is this not a misplaced priority?
Before I answer your question, I want to address something before I get to...
Please.
Yeah. I want to use this medium I am a member of a Tinubu Support Group Media Team, TSG, and I want to use this medium to correct a misinformation dished out to Nigerians by Senator Garba Maidoki against the state police and against the federal government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then castigating the National Assembly when Mr. President presented the bill for the setting up of the state police. Because he has left APC, he has been a member of the APC all this while. Because he lost a primary election, he now left APC and began to castigate, the setting up of the state police. Everything that the National Assembly has done, he began to run them down, began to run Mr. President down, and then made some unsavory statements, which a man of his stature, because if you're in the hallowed chambers of the National Assembly, you're supposed to be a statesman. And if you're a man of integrity that you left the political party, does not give you the, a gravitas to begin to criticize every action that the political party or the government you have been part and parcel of, has taken. Why did you not oppose those actions if they were not in the interest of the public when you were there? So state policing is one of the best, policies of this government. And we salute their, courage. We salute the courage of Mr. President and the National Assembly.
At 140 million poverty.
I'm coming to that.
Let's get to that point.
I am keep going to that point.
Right,
so Senator Garba Maidoki's criticism of the bill setting up the state police is a misplaced priority, and it is a misinformation that a man of his stature shouldn't, come to the public to dish out because of his selfish interest. Even in his state in Kebbi today, there is a new terrorist group that calls themselves Saimalab. So who knows who is funding them? And this man is from Kebbi State, opposing the setting up of state police. Well, that is by the way. Now, you said poverty, 140 million people. I was in your program here some time ago, and I did tell you, and I've said it in other fora, poverty is part and parcel of human development. Even in advanced economies and countries, there are poor people. Since the creation of humans and we began to grow, poverty has been part and parcel of us. You are a Christian. I am a Christian. Peter, you are a Christian. Jesus said you will always have the poor with you.
The poor must always be among you.
It must be there. Look at this finger. The finger
must always be among you, but you didn't mention 140 million.
I am coming.
Just to put it in perspective.
Excuse me. Right. Look at this finger. All of them are not equal. Everybody must not be the same. There are people that will have opportunity better than others. But the poverty we are having now that you are magnifying,
is it a multi-dimensional poverty? Shouldn't we be solving it first?
I am coming. Is it as a result that government has not provided enabling environment for a commerce, trade and commerce to thrive? Government has not provided enabling environment to for people to do what they're supposed to do to earn a decent living? No is the answer. Government has done its part. Yeah. It is individuals, I and you and others that have been used to being spoon-fed. Who now, those areas they are making such illicit work are not getting it now. Like, let me cite an instance. Before, people had the pattern of going to federal secretariat to look for contracts to buy. Somebody will just go because I know Peter now. Peter is a permanent secretary or whatsoever. He will give me a contract. He knows I do not have the capacity to do that job, but he gives me so that I will go and sell to somebody who wants to buy and make money. That's free money. And at the end of the day, the job is not done and people are paid. So, and those people have been used to that kind of spoon-fed lifestyle. Now, such systems no longer exist. What do you expect those people to do? They will be poor. And they are the people that will be complaining. There are many instances. Today, government has provided enabling environment for businesses to thrive, for people to eke out a living. It behoves those individuals to get productive to earn a living. There is no free lunch any longer. There is no dashing of handout any longer. You must work to earn a living.
Thank you very much. Can I just add to what Chief has said?
Yes. So just one thing. Before you add, I just want to I won't allow you add that thing you want to add, but just to correct this is a national TV, so I just have to set the record straight that we are not holding brief for Garba Maidoki. Okay. So just to set the record straight, you can go ahead now.
So I'm taking you back to the poll.
No Maidoki.
Yes, all right. Of course. So the poll findings said 72% of Nigerians want state police. Inside that 72%, there are poor Nigerians Inside that 72%, they are rich Nigerians.
I said that 70% they are
What
still Nigerians that don't have access to
there
the
are
internet.
21% of people that say they don't want state police. But what would you call them in this situation? They are the minority. So but you listen to their voice too. But the majority want state police. So irrespective of the castigations or the voices of the few, you can't now silence the vast majority of voices just because a few are saying don't. So if 7 out of 10 people said, I want this thing, will you deny them? It's a democracy, we call it, right?
So we should look.
It's
So
for
we should
the
look.
people.
So we should look beyond. We should look beyond.
And it's a game of numbers.
We should look beyond the hunger.
Yes.
We should look beyond the national
And look at
poverty line.
the overwhelming desire
Look at the overwhelming desire.
that keeps us together.
Even though the overwhelming desire that keeps us together is less than 140 million people.
It's not true.
No.
I just asked
70% of
the
the poor people.
insecurity of the country. Are you saying that 140 million Nigerians
70% of those poor people
insecurity?
want
Excuse,
security.
Look at the statistics.
Yes, I'm following the
Nigeria is
statistics.
a country of about 250 million.
Yeah, 250 million.
And 72% of this population wants state police.
Well, the state police the statistics and the survey.
Excuse me. The
Does it
statistics
reflect? Does it reflect? I'm missing that our time is fast spent, Chief. I wish we have time to do this because we've not even scratched the surface of the conversation. So what we'll do, Chief, let's tag this to be the part one of the conversation, Peter Oshage.
Very well.
By your permission, let's tag this to be the part one because
Absolutely.
we'll have to come back to do justice to this. Our time is really fast spent. It's a sad one though because
It's like we are just starting and the
not-
time.
I'm just saying
runs.
now that what a way to begin a tough conversation of this nature. Well, it's on this I want to say hi, Chief Chibunda Obuike. Thank you so much for finding out time to be with us.
Thank you, Godwin.
And thank you so much, Peter Shoge, for being
Thank you,
with us.
God, for having us.
Well, viewers, this is how far we can go on Korero tonight. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your comments on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the Rapid TV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your night rest. Bye for now.